This is the SAU Report, a program featuring interviews with the faculty, staff, students, and alumni of Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.
Welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Jamey Giddens.
And I'm Cara Guinn. We're here talking today with Jill Courson. She's the president of the Student Government Association here at SAU. Jill, tell us a little bit about yourself, just how you got involved with SGA and how many years you've been at college and that kind of stuff.
This is my third year here at SAU. I got involved with SGA when I was a freshman. Whenever I came here, there was an open spot available in a senator position, so I got appointed to that. And I've been involved as a senator the past 2 years, and then this year I'm the president.
Jill, what made you decide to run for SGA president?
Well, I wasn't really planning on it, but I was one of the older people already in SGA that had been in it for a couple of years, and so some of the people already in it with me wanted me to run, and some friends thought I should do it, so it just kind of happened.
Okay, how do they go about doing the elections with that? Are y'all, do you do it voluntarily?
Yes, applications are put out in the Student Life office usually right after spring break, and then they're due like middle of April, and then elections are held at Spring Fling, which is usually about middle of April. And there's the student body elects 3 senators from each school of business, education, liberal and performing arts, and science and tech. And then there's also 2 undecided senators. And then in the fall we have elections for 2 freshman senators. There's also the 4 officers: president, vice president, secretary treasurer, and chief justice. So the student body votes on those.
What is involved in running a successful campaign for student government office?
Well, I found just because a lot of people don't look at signs, although it's good to put up signs. I put up signs everywhere, just even if people didn't know me. I figure, well, if they saw my name up there, when they get to the ballot, they can say, well, I saw her name around campus. And so I don't know if that's how it works, but it seemed to work for me. And then also my vice president, LT Heath, he and I kind of ran on a ticket. We ran together, so we helped each other out. So I think that's one of the reasons that we were so successful.
What about up and coming things like homecoming? What are y'all going to do for that?
SGA is in charge of the parade, taking care of the court the whole day of homecoming, and organizing the pep rally. So we are under a lot of pressure right now trying to get all this done. But we're doing a really good job so far. They've already gotten most of the cars for the parade that the girls are going to ride in. And we just sent out the step today about organizations to nominate candidates for the court. And then in a couple of weeks we'll be doing the first vote for the court, and then a couple weeks after that it'll be vote for the queen. And the pep rally, there's not much to do with it yet, but it's set for I think 6 o'clock on that Thursday night, the 29th, I guess, before that Saturday.
I understand there was talk of allowing a male or males to be a part of the SAU homecoming court this year.
Yes, I think it was last year one of the organizations tried to nominate a male for the court, and so that was sort of brought before us, so we kind of thought that we needed to address that. So we tried to have a vote a couple of weeks ago with freshman elections. It wasn't very publicized because only 200 people ended up voting, and that was sort of our fault because we didn't publicize enough for it, and a lot of people thought because it's freshman elections that nobody else could vote except for freshmen. But out of the 200 people that did vote, we got a response about 3/4 of them wanted a king, but we concluded that since it wasn't a very big vote, a lot of people didn't know really what they were voting for, that we were just going to keep it as always, because we're trying to get stuff organized right now, and we don't have really enough time to deal with it this year. But we decided to just research it throughout this year and do some more polls and do some stuff and to see if it's really an interest with the students, and we might look into it for next year.
Also, I understand that y'all are in charge of a lot of the rules and regulations on campus parking, stuff like that. What all does that entail?
The Chief Justice is over the Traffic Appeals Court, so if any student gets a ticket on campus and they feel like they shouldn't have gotten that, or they're wrongly given a ticket, well then they can take it over to the Student Life office, and then that's turned into the Traffic Appeals Court, which is held every Monday at 3:30, and it's the Chief Justice and a couple of other SGA members, and they listen to the student's story, about why they don't think they should have to pay the ticket, and then they can either appeal it or say, sorry, you have to pay it.
How influential do you believe SGA is in setting university policies?
Well, I think if there's like policies that students don't like, is that what you mean? Well, people can bring stuff up to us, and if we feel like it's a valid complaint or whatever, then we can take it up to like the president's council or the faculty or something like that. But I think that we are. I mean, if it's a real concern of the students, sometimes the administration doesn't realize that it is, and so they can go through us and take something up, and then But sometimes things don't change. It kind of depends on each specific situation. But I think that we're a good link between the student body and the administration.
What about Spring Fling? Do you know how many years y'all have currently been co-hosting that and working all that up, and what all does that entitle? Is it about the same as homecoming, or?
Impact does a lot with that. We do co-sponsor it with them because we give like half the money. We go in half and half, but they do a lot of the contact people. And that's also when we hold elections, so, for the year. So we're doing that part of it. I'm not sure how many years we've co-hosted it with them as long as I know. I'm not sure exactly, but.
A lot of people might not know this about you, Jill, but you're also a resident assistant in Bussey Hall. What role do you feel that RAs play in influencing students on campus?
I think in the freshman hall, they play a very big role because that student's coming away from home for the first time, and so naturally they're going to go to their RA to ask questions about, what is there to do in Magnolia or to do on campus or stuff like that. But I'm in the upperclassmen hall, and I still play an important role, I think, as people come to me if there's a problem with their room or if they have a problem, just kind of in general, and I can direct them where to go. But it's not as much like in the freshman halls. They're more of like almost like a counselor kind of person if they have any, because by the time they get to Bussey, where they're upperclassmen, they've already established themselves here, and so I'm not as much. I'm just kind of a person that if something's going wrong in the room, like they need a light bulb or something, then they can come to me. And just more of a friend probably instead of like, yeah.
Well, are there any issues that you would like to see brought up in the future with SGA, or anything you would like, that you could think of that would be changed to make it more efficient for the, for the school, or?
Well, I guess one of the big things I'm trying to do this year is just letting the student body know that anybody's invited to any of our meetings. It's not just, the senators and the exec. Anybody, we welcome anybody to come and bring up anything that they have a problem with. That's just, that's one of the things that I'm wanting to do. And right now, I'm not sure what we're going to do after homecoming. We're just trying to get through it for right now.
Besides SGA and being an RA, what other organizations are you involved with on campus?
I am in Phi Mu sorority. I'm the Phi director in that, and that's like over the new member director, I guess. I'm over the new members. And I'm also in President's Ambassadors.
How long will you hold your office in SGA as president? Until the next semester?
April. Until the election's in April.
Are you planning to run again?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I might.
What are your plans after graduation? Do you see yourself participating in politics after college?
Right now, I don't see myself in that, but you never know, I guess.
What is one of the strangest things that's ever been brought up to the SGA that they wanted you to problem solve?
I don't know, because we haven't, I'm not sure. Really, the only thing this semester has been the rollerblading. There's been a lot of talk about people wanting that changed. And we did form a committee. That's not really strange, but that's just something that was brought up this year. And we did talk to Dr. Gamble about it, and he said no way. So we kind of, that's really the only thing that we've dealt with this year so far.
How do you balance all of your various commitments with your class requirements?
Well, it's hard. I just kind of go day by day. I try to plan out the week, but stuff is always coming up, so I just kind of have to go day by day where I'm supposed to be. And
well, back to the other fundraisers. Do you have anything else that you take care of fundraising-wise besides homecoming, or anything else you're involved in besides Spring Fling? Or
we're having, at Family Day this weekend, we're having a booth, just a welcome booth to the parents. I think that families register in with I guess a table or something. I think that we're going to be like right next to it, welcoming and giving out cookies and lemonade probably, because I guess it'll still be warm this weekend. So water or something like that, and just we just kind of like to be visible to people, and let people know that they can come to us if they have any problems. Or
how do you feel about the numbers of the group of the SGA? Are you secure with it, or like you were saying earlier, you'd like more people to know that you're out there? Mm-hmm. Do you have small numbers now, or? Well,
people. Okay, there's 20 of us in all, because there's the 4 exec and then 3 senators from each school, and then 2 undecided and 2 freshman senators. And in a way, I think that's kind of a small group of people to be governing the entire campus. But I also have really good people who represent. I think they represent their schools well. And like I say, we always invite anybody to come, so I feel like.
So what are the requirements for a student who wants to run for an SGA office?
I believe you have to have 12 hours, and you have to have a 2-point cumulative GPA, and I think that's all. Then, you just go apply come election time, go get an application.
How did you feel at the moment when you found out you won president after all the campaigning?
Well, I was happy, and then then the next day I realized, what have I done? What have I gotten myself into? But I was still excited. I realized I had a big job ahead of me, and I just wanted to do a good job. But
do you feel like in the future that this is going to benefit as far as resumes go, stuff like that? Are you interested? He asked you earlier about further in a political career, but do you think, is that applicable to your major or anything like that? Or?
Well, I think with any major, I think that looks good for anybody to have on the resume, just as far as the leadership skills and that type of thing, and being able to work with the group. I just think for anybody that looks good. And
So, does SGA have anything to say about the continuous dining issues?
We haven't really, as far as myself, as I've heard that people are really liking it better. I like it better because I have class from 11 to 1 on some days, and normally I wouldn't be able to go down there and eat at all, but because of that, I'm able to. We haven't really heard that much about it. Usually stuff like that I think goes more through RHA because they're the residence people, but we'd be happy to hear anybody. But
do y'all offer any kind of like SGA workshops where you train the people that work with y'all, or do you just jump in there and learn?
Yes, we held a training workshop. I guess it was like the Friday right before school started. We basically planned out like this whole semester. Just we did some icebreakers. Everybody knows each other, but some people we haven't really worked together before, and so we did some of that type of thing, and we just discussed what our goals were for the year, and we already set up some committees as far as committee chairs, like who was going to be over the freshman elections and the homecoming stuff, and we went ahead and got going on that. So when school started, we wouldn't be, scrambling around trying to figure out who's doing what. So that went really well, and that helped us a lot, I think.
You said you're majoring in psychology. What do you plan to do with your major after you graduate?
I'm not sure right now. I'm going to go to grad school. I'm going to have to really do anything. I'm really not sure. I'm maybe something in some kind of research type thing. I'm not sure though. I don't know at all.
Well, back to you were saying about the workshops and stuff. Do y'all do individual, like one-on-one training when you pass the presidency on? Will you explain things to that person, or do they just go about it?
Some years they do that, and some years they don't. It just I don't know. I received the president last year. I got his notebook and I got to look through it and stuff like that. And I think we do try to do that. Of course, I already knew some things because I had already been in it for 2 years, so I was aware of what went on and things like that. So
you feel it's better to have experience?
Yeah,
previous?
As far as an exec position goes, I think that to me, I think it's important to have at least been at SGA for a semester, or at least attend the meetings, even if you're not like a voting member, you know, if you just transfer into school or something like that, you know, to come participate and, you know, maybe join committees or something like that to have experience and know what's going on.
In your opinion, do you feel the university is supportive of SGA, and do you feel that they're open to your suggestions when it comes to the students' rights and policies?
The administration?
Uh-huh.
Yes, I very much feel. Dr. Allen has been she came to our meeting this past Monday, and she's been to several of them, and Dr. Gamble came to the one before, and he tries to come, you know, like every other meeting or something, to touch base with us and make sure we know what's going on with them and how they feel about issues that have been brought before us. And I think that, I mean, they're always open to hear anything. You know, sometimes they don't agree with it, but they always explain why. So we're not just, you know, feeling like they're telling us no. They explain it too. So I appreciate that. And
Yeah, that was my next question. Did you have any faculty or administration that oversees y'all or takes?
yeah, our sponsor is Wendy Morgan, the assistant dean of students. She's our sponsor. So
As far as Wendy goes, does she come to all the meetings, or do y'all just, she handles things like the sponsor?
yeah, she comes to all of our meetings, and she's just really, she's there if we have any questions about anything, or if we need to know who to contact about doing something, then she's there to help us.
Do y'all do any fundraising? I know that there's a set budget for SGA. Do you sponsor any dances or student activities for the students throughout the year?
I don't think we did this past year, but the year before we helped sponsor Mardi Gras. But most of the stuff that we help co-sponsor, it's free to the students, so it's not, you know, trying to raise money for us, because we set our budget, like we set our budget for this year last May, when it has to go through Overstreet and get approved by the people over there, and so we really don't. So we go ahead and set, you know, budgets and stuff like that. So we really don't need any. So the stuff that we do for the students, it's free to them. They don't, you know. I guess that's.
Does SGA have any type of national office or anywhere you can get, you know, other policies that have been done on other campuses, how they handled situations? Do y'all have?
There is an Arkansas Student Government Association, and it consists of the president or a rep of all the schools in Arkansas, and I get information from them, or I hear from them every once in a while. So that's kind of neat to hear what's going on at different schools and things like that.
To have a type of dialogue going between others. Do you feel that SGA, since you've been here, do you feel that they've helped benefit the campus more so than when you were a freshman? Have you seen changes, improvements?
Yeah, I guess it probably has improved a little bit. I mean, there's always room for improvement. I think things can always get better, but yeah, I guess, yes, answering your question.
Are there a lot of bright new faces in SGA right now, or is it mostly upperclassmen, or what's the usual?
We just got our 2 freshman senators, and I think they're both going to be really well. And I guess there's probably about half the people who were in it last year, and then half of them weren't. You know, I think it's kind of about like that every year. Most of them, it's a pretty good mix of sophomore, juniors, and seniors, so it's not really all juniors and seniors. So.
Has there been any tension among the officers this year?
No, I've been really impressed with them, because like we were brought up with the Homecoming King issue, and that was something that we had to deal with, and people had different opinions on that, and we had, you know, some conflicting issues, but when it came down to it, the vote was unanimous on what you know, how we needed to take care of it, and people have been really, you know, they were really mature. I have some really bright senators, and I'm really excited about working with them, and it's going really well. I'm really pleased with it.
Do you know if other people in there have political majors, that they're doing it, you know, because of that?
I think there are a couple of people who are in political science majors, and they're planning on going to, I think they're pre-law, so I think that probably is one of the big reasons why they were.
But I'm sure you do have ones that are in just for the fun of it, just because they enjoy government.
Are there any field trips? Does SGA go like to other campuses and meet with other? I know you said that there's an Arkansas president's.
We haven't, ever since I've been here. I think it would be something to look into, because I think that would be neat for us to go. I mean, if not the whole group could go, at least for the exec to go, and I don't know. There's all kinds of different workshops and stuff, like I know there's one in DC sometime in November, but then that gets expensive and stuff like that, but there are those opportunities, I guess.
I know a few years back, y'all had, I'm not sure what you'd passed, what you'd call it exactly, but it was permitting the parking spots for faculty. Y'all had numbered those. Did that go over well with the faculty, or were you even in that?
I wasn't even.
Weren't aware of that?
I guess that was before I was here, because I don't.
But now y'all just mainly deal with appeals, stuff to that?
The student appeals, that's what. There's always complaints that there's not enough parking about, we always deal with that. And Dr. Gamble told us that that there is enough parking, because he's counted at the busiest time of the day. He says that they haven't counted. There's still probably like 30 to 40 spaces open. It's just, I think the whole problem with parking is everybody just wants to park up at the front, and no, that's probably not going to be possible. But I understand that too. It's just, that's just kind of an ongoing thing. It's probably never gonna, because everybody just wants to park up at the front door, and I don't know.
Are the majority of the SGA officers on campus, or do they live off campus? This
year, the majority of them live on campus. I think there's only 2 or 3 that live off. I can't really remember from last year. But I did notice that whenever I was sending out a notice the other day, how almost all of them were on campus.
Okay, so do you feel that some students who live off campus might feel that they weren't represented fairly, or
I don't know.
since mostly they're the ones with the parking issues? So.
I don't know. That's a good point. I never thought about that.
Would you say that parking is y'all's main complaint that you get? Parking tickets?
Yeah,
and
and that's probably
problems?
with RHA too. That's just like an ongoing thing. There's really, I hate to say there's nothing we can do about it, but we have gone before, and they, and Dr. Gamble and Dr. Allen, they tell us that there is enough parking, and I guess there really is. It's just, I guess, in the wrong places, like when
not convenient at the right time.
Yeah, but.
So I guess your goal is to try to make things as acceptable, but it might not be as convenient. You might have to walk a little, is what you're saying.
With you being president, are there any other things that you would like to implement or anything like that before you go out? Or if you do run again, you'd like to see done later on? Or like you said, there's always room for improvement, but you don't have any specifics that you would...
I guess we'll go back to the parking thing, because I do have an idea about that. I haven't even brought it up to the SGA this year, but back on Crescent Street, back around there's always people parking in the grass and stuff back there. Well, it used to be a 2-way street, so I guess some of my senators were thinking maybe if, on one side of the street, you could just do diagonal parking, halfway up the street, maybe not up where the houses are, but up the street, and so because there would still be room to drive, and it would also help keep people from going the wrong way down the one-way street. So we thought, because some people, especially people that have classes in Peace, and I guess I think about that because that's where most of my classes are. A lot of that parking's already taken up by the people that live in Harrod and Bussey, and so there really is, I think, a need for another parking over there. So, and I don't think that would cost as much, because you wouldn't be having to pour concrete or anything. You could just use that road and just paint the lines.
Well, Jill, we'd like to thank you so much for joining us today, and we're glad to see that you're here for the students, and we would like to thank you. And
thank you for letting me be here.
And thank you for joining us for the SAU Report. I'm Cara Guinn.
And I'm Jamey Giddens.
Thank you.
The SAU Report is a production of broadcast journalism students in the Department of Theater and Mass Communication at Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.